Well, I've put it off for a while now because I wanted to wait later on to see if more people would be here for it. So that way I don't have to kind of repeat myself. But I suppose now would be as good as time as ever to talk about it. So, we had EA Play. That happened. We saw the initial trailer, which was like the first thing they showed. And I will say this. That trailer that they showed at EA Play is the initial trailer we should have seen, right? Instead of the stupid, just bullshit CGI trailer we got. Then I think more people would have been interested in the game. So, I don't know what DICE was doing there. We only got to see, of course, the one mode and a small little trailer for the story mode, which was Grand Operations. Grand Operations being the only thing that was available to play on one map. It was a snowy map. I don't know necessarily the name of the map. I don't really care. At this moment in time, at least. Main key points that I noticed. Everything it looks like it has assets reused. And that's pretty atypical for a Battlefield game, where you notice a lot of assets reused from previous generations of games, specifically Battlefield 1, but tweaked slightly. And, you know, I was expecting it. It was there. The one thing that's interesting to me was the suppression. I couldn't tell. Every time I looked at gunplay and someone was getting shot at or someone was shooting back, I couldn't
Yeah, I don't know
tell.
what causes the latency bug either. It's so weird.
Yeah, I do not know. But for suppression, I could not tell. I didn't know if it was there. I didn't know if it was blurred like Vaseline screen was for BF3. It was very difficult to tell. And I think the whole suppression mechanic itself is not going to be easy to tell unless you're actually there experiencing it. Because that's when you get a full understanding of how the mechanic works. So I guess I won't be able to really comment on that further till I actually try the game myself. Time to kill was worrisome. From what I've seen, most guns ended up doing about maybe 4 shots, and they're done. Which I'm not entirely on board with. I think an extra shot, like 5 shots or so, would be fine. Kind of something similar to what we had in BC2, of course. I'm always going to be the one to say go back to that style, but it's true, it worked. The one thing I also noticed about gunplay itself is that it's very unrewarding as it is for this game, where spraying seems to be rewarded more than tap firing. I wish we would kind of get rid of that habit. I don't necessarily agree with that habit for gunplay. I never have, and I probably never will. I believe that your first shot accuracy should always be more important. Tap firing at any range should always be king, unless you're up close in a panic, in which case sprays should work. We don't see that in Battlefield 5. It's very much the same as it is in Battlefield 1. Let's see, what else? Fortifications. Fortifications look very gimmicky, as I thought it would. In this, granted, you guys have to keep this in mind. I have not played the game. Disclaimer. Not played the game going off a visual assumption. They look very gimmicky.
Barn.
In the sense that it looks like you're gonna just find the lull in between combat, and you're like, alright, I want to put this here, 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 here. And as we expected, it's designated spots. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna put this anywhere I go. It's certain designated spots. So there's that. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about it other than that. I guess you'll have to see whenever the full game comes out. What else? Let's see. Sniping. Sniping looks practically the same as it is in BF1. The one thing I can tell is that they removed the sweet spot mechanic, thank God. I'm glad they listened. Because that is a terrible, awful mechanic and should never be rewarding to anybody for just a one-shot kill just because you stood in a wrong place. You should always be rewarded for the aim duel first. If you get the headshot, that's what matters the most. From what I could tell, it looked like bullet drop was increased, so you're going to see your bullet drop a bit further than normal. And then velocity looked pretty much the same, so expect kind of sniping maybe on levels of the Gewehr 98 almost, I want to say. but it was hard to tell without really getting my hands on it. Bad mechanics that return. Assist counts as kill. For those that didn't know, or haven't played Battlefield in a while, or I guess I don't know about this mechanic in the game, there is something called assist counts as kill. If you ever do 75 damage on a target and somebody else gets the kill before you do, you get something called assist counts as kill, which in all practicality gives you the kill, and also gives them the kill. That has been reduced now, so it's no longer 75, it's 60. This inflates kills significantly, and I think this is a problem, because you're not only rewarding people who didn't do the full amount of damage on a player, you're basically telling them, oh, it's okay, we'll still count it as a kill, which I believe inflates egos a bit more than it should, which is also going to inflate KD ratios. So, say for instance, what I had like last round was what, 50 and something? Now, that probably would have been a lot higher, considering every shot that I do on someone with this rifle is a 72. Minimum body shot. So, I don't necessarily agree with that at all. In fact, if I would have it my way, assist counts as kill would be gone. We would just go back to, you either get 100 or you get nothing. You get squat. But DICE has obviously proven over their years that they're all about that feel-good vibe of the player, to really make them want to come back for more, to tell them it's okay, you know, you are doing good. Look, we promise you're doing really, really good. And I'm just, I don't necessarily agree with that. Oh, what else? STG looked OP from what I could tell, but then again, that goes back to the time to kill. Simply because it looked like most STGs were dropping people in like 2 to 3 shots, but that could also be the whole variation in the healing mechanic, where it's like, you get a squad revive, you're not back to 100, and medics have to obviously be the ones to get you to full health. But it's just overall, I was intrigued by it. I'm not entirely disappointed by it. I'm intrigued. I want to play it because then, you know, once you actually can play it and understand how certain mechanics work a lot more, I'll have a more in-depth opinion on the game itself. So I'm waiting for the alpha, and I'm hoping I can get into the alpha, and by then maybe they'll allow us to stream it like they did for BF1, and you guys can get my opinions then and there. But that's kind of like what I got right now so far. If you guys have any other subjects on the game that I missed, please let me know, and I could probably give my opinion on that if I've seen it. So, yeah. That's just kind of how I feel about Battlefield 5 right now. I know it was a bit ranty, but I'm glad I kind of waited for it, because now imagine me having to repeat that like 10 times. Yeah, but do not want to do that. Guy did not hit me. Worth a damn. Wow. He's in the tank. Building destruction looked cool. Reminded me of BC2 in a way. The one thing, obviously, is that we have... the destruction looks cooler. It's just very similar to what we have in Battlefield 1, where it's not full building destruction. It's just chipping away at parts that the game allows you to while remaining the structure still intact, from what I can tell. Because that way they can put the whole fortifications mechanic dumped right on top of it. Tanks look really big. Oh, yeah, that's another mechanic I missed. Tanks, I'm glad, and other vehicles have the limited ammo function brought back from Battlefield 2. That's good. I think that's wonderful. You should not allow tanks to have that kind of unlimited firepower, to have kind of free reign on the battlefield. That makes sense to me, so good job on that one, DICE. However, instantly counteracted with another bad mechanic. They left in self-repair. Self-repair. The worst mechanic they ever brought to vehicles. And then they also left in emergency repairs, which I would have been fine with if they had left out self-repair on the inside. I think that is dumb. I've always been a firm believer that if you're going to rep a tank, you should have to get out and rep it yourself, because that is the high-risk, high-reward nature of the tank. You get a shit ton of damage, but once you take that damage, You have to get out, and you have to take care of it yourself instead of just sitting in the comfort and safety of the tank. So yeah, not a fan of that. But the limited ammo for all vehicles, wonderful. Good job, guys. Have to get out and repair it? I don't think so. From the gameplay that I've seen, people were just allowed to sit in their tank and self-rep like they normally do. Obviously, the whole thing with Battlefield 1 is that you have the option to get out of your tank and rep it, and it'll have a faster rep time, but the mechanic is still there of being able to sit in your tank and just rep your tank without the danger of ever having to get out. It'll be slower, but you can sit inside your tank, which I just don't agree with. I think the danger should always be there. Again, high risk, high reward. Oh, Firebringer. Probably playing like crap right now, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I have not been paying attention this entire time. I've been so focused on talking about Battlefield 5. Curious how the tanks resupply in the previous games, if they could. So normally there were resupply points, kind of like how it was, or how they're saying now. Like you cap a flag, that was your resupply point. You would go back to a designated point, you would resupply from there. In vehicles, and especially planes in Battlefield 2, if you used all your weapons, you would have to fly back over the carrier, slow down, get your ammo resupplied, maybe do multiple loops, get your full ammo back, and then you would continue on and carry on with the game. I think Battlefield 1 is worth $15 with the DLC this late in its cycle with a new game coming out. If you're trying to prepare yourself for Battlefield 5, sure. Not a bad deal, I would say. .3D spotting. 3D spotting, from obviously what I can tell, has been nerfed, as they've shown, where it's still definitely there, but it's more of an up-close kind of thing. I don't know if it's going back to the old style of BF1 initially, where they're like, oh, it's a safe space. If someone gets in your safe space, they're auto-spotted. I hope that's not the case. I hope you still have to manually spot them. What I've seen, too, is like you spot them, and if you're working on shooting them, won't be like a full-blown 3D spot. If they go around a wall, for instance, while you're looking at them, the 3D spot will go away. So essentially, the 3D spot is maintained through line of sight. Then they have, of course, the general direction kind of spotting, where it's like, oh, if I look over here and press Q, there would be like a little arrow over here saying, hey, there's danger there. I think that's acceptable. I think that's pretty decent. Overall, with 3D spotting, it's been one of those things that's been a gripe for years, so I'm glad they changed it, personally. I'm just... I'm looking at chat more than playing the game right now, just because there's just nothing going on. New weather and lighting effects look cool. My biggest thing that I hope is that if they included fog, I swear they better have toned it down, because the current edition of fog, Battlefield 1, is so bad that you just... It's not immersive, right? It's hindrance. It's never like, oh, I'm so immersed in this gameplay. This is so good. No. It's devastating, especially when you're trying to look for specific targets.
We have lost objective.
I'm a Fallout fan. I'm not a big fanboy of it. I mean, I do enjoy the Fallout series, but I'm not a huge fanboy of the Fallout games like I know some other people are. I enjoy me a Fallout game or two. Nice lean. What was that? I like broke his neck for a second.
Fun gun left side.
We have lost objective Duff.
The old conquest system is a good move. I'd agree. Yep.
Haltet dieses Ziel!
Biggest disappointment? Probably the whole kill assist thing. The assist counts as kill being lowered to 60 is very disappointing because it just further blurs the lines of skill to some people.
One left gunner.
And I think DICE are intentionally doing this to encourage players to keep playing more instead of rewarding them for actually getting kills. It's just a very much a deception. I'll be even the first one to tell you here. Without the assist counts as kill mechanic within this game, I'd probably have a much lower KD ratio. And I'm accepted that. I mean, I completely understand it, and I know that it's the mechanic at work. Which means that some of the people in this game who think that they have somewhere around a 2 or a 1 KD, that would be much, much lower without that mechanic. I've said it before, Ginger Snap, I'm not entirely pleased that Battle Royale is coming to Battlefield. It's very gimmicky, it's a quick buck mechanic, and it's the only way that I feel like some game developers can get people to actually play their game is with a Battle Royale mode now. So I am not entirely happy about it, personally. Yes, I would love to have assist counts as kill removed. Absolutely. I think that would be a great move. How about that Cyberpunk 2077 trailer at the end of Xbox E3? Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that happened. At least we now know that that game is not in development hell, and it's actually still happening, so that's good. What do I think about Sekiro? Sekiro looked pretty good. I mean, obviously, From Software hasn't disappointed in the past, so it should be a pretty good game.
Захватите цель!
But yes, hopefully I have answered as much as I can about Battlefield 5 and my opinions on it so far, guys.
Цель останется нашей.
Guess we can only go further by actually playing the game itself, so until then, that's what we were waiting for. Still gonna get Battlefield 5 though? Oh yeah.
We have taken objective butter.
Мы захватим эту цель.